Hey, New Life. Coming to you today with some exciting news. If you know me, if you've been around for a while, you know that I love to tell stories. So in order to tell this news, I need to tell you a story. A story that goes back to 2020, January of 2020. I got up on stage at the very beginning of the year and I talked about having vision, 2020 vision. On that day, on that stage, I talked about three things that we were hoping to see happen in 2020. One of those things specifically being that we were looking to hire another pastor. Well, in February of 2020, we know what took place. We heard of this thing called COVID. In March of 2020, then, the world shut down. And the things we talked about in that vision message never came to be. And yet the hope and desire for those things continued to stay, and specifically this idea of hiring another pastor here on staff. This past year, in 2022, May of 2022 specifically, at our annual meeting, we approved in our budget to hire another pastor. And so that began a journey over the last couple of months. We created a job description. We need someone to come on staff to focus in our adults areas, to focus on discipleship, to focus on care, our men's groups, our women's groups, our life groups. We put out this job description, we took resumes, and we had 25 individuals express interest. We put together a team then, a subset of our elders, vetted those resumes to see if they would fit the job description, and we landed on 5 people. We did Zoom interviews for those that were out of state, and we did local interviews for those that were here. And it became very clear as we were in the second part of the process that God was leading us in a very specific direction. And that direction was to focus on the individuals that were local, which is a really cool part of the story. Because see, in the last couple of years, not only was God getting us ready for what we needed when it comes to our next pastoral position, but God was getting ready the people that he had for this position. And I say people because a little twist in the story is that it's not just one person, it's 2 people. 2 people that God has made very clear New Life Church is where they're supposed to be. And so when we began this process, there were 2 people internally that came forward and said, you know what? I think this is where God is leading me. And so we started a conversation that led to the idea that maybe this one position wasn't right for either of them, but there could possibly be a position available where we combine the skill set of both of them to fit something actually broader and bigger than we ever could have imagined here. And so I'm excited to tell you today that those 2 people are actually people that you probably already know. And those 2 people are Scott Kent and Luke Bostrom. Scott and Luke have been with us for a couple years now, and they've been through a number of things through the last couple of years as worship leaders for us. And in this process of finding a pastor, they both felt that God was leading them to have a conversation. And yet the one position wasn't right for either of them, but in it, the idea of a shared position worked. And how is this shared position going to work? Well, Scott's going to be coming on full-time for us. Luke, if you know, is already full-time within the academy. Scott's going to be our full-time adult discipleship and worship pastor. He's going to be a primary worship leader on Sundays. He's going to focus on adult discipleship. He's going to do the adult things that we talked about. He's going to be focused on care and groups and connecting people within community here at New Life. Luke then is going to continue to be in his role in the academy, but he's going to take on a content focus for us. And so he's going to be focused on Christian education. He's going to be the pastoral representative for New Life Church within the Bible department at New Life Academy, as he's going to continue to teach within some capacity there. And then he's going to be focused on content for us within our adult Bible studies. On Sunday mornings, he's going to be our secondary teacher. So when I'm not available, he's going to be one that we're going to lean on. And yes, Rex is going to continue to teach with us as well too, but Luke's going to take that official pastoral position. And so this weekend, we're going to be announcing for the very first time on that stage, Luke Bostrom and Scott Kent as official pastors of New Life Church. We're going to share a little bit more of that story at lunch right after the church service, so you can hear from their heart how God had brought them here for a reason that neither of them fully understood at the time, but for a reason now that we understand as we've seen God's hand move in the middle of all of this. Which is so cool because this was a story many years in the making. Years before we even understood that we needed a pastor here, God was already working and putting it on people's hearts to come here to New Life. And so I can't wait for this weekend, and I can't wait for this upcoming year as God continues to move in ways that he has at New Life for 40 plus years and will continue to do so for many, many years to come. See you guys on Sunday.